from Pachamam Art. I am at the gallery and shop gallery. I also work here Wednesdays and Thursdays and Sundays. And with Kim also the rest of the time. If you want to come say hi, we have lots of beautiful art and we're doing some presentations, and today I came in to change up some frames. So I thought this was an interesting point to actually talk about because I often introduce the paintings themselves and the symbols and how we can interpret the colors. But I think there is an interesting insight also about how the alchemy of the energy when it comes to picking a frame. Okay, so one of my latest paintings that I've created is called Shapeshifters, and so it's a great theme to talk about today. Because okay, so I don't know if you've seen this one, the one with the hand and the heart and all the colors around it. I'm gonna zoom in here in a little bit, but I wanted to say a few words. So you know, the hand symbolizes a lot of things. It can symbolizes a meeting, you know, a meeting, and it also represents helping each other, the compassion with the heart in the middle, but it can also be protection. There's a funny story about this painting. How I started painting it is, you know, when you're in a spiritual awakening, you start seeing synchronicities all around you and everywhere and everything. Like you're driving and there is a truck passes by with like a huge giant message or a sign that says your sign here, literally, you know. And sometimes you can feel like you're in the Truman Show, you know, how when he's driving and he hears the radio being like, oh, he's turning right here, you know, and as soon as he changes his behavior, the entire rest of the city changes as well, and he realizes like in this fake reality. And so when you're in a spiritual awakening, you can feel like that because you have so many synchronicities left and right, and you can completely become paranoid as well and like think you're crazy or you know, being out of your mind. And so there were a lot of these things happening to me, and I was in a parking of the supermarket with my son, and so, you know, coming from school, you know, right in front of the big supermarket sign, and a journalist came, which was really nice, and he's like, oh, can I ask you a few questions? But you know, he came to me like, can I ask you a few questions? I'm like, so I was like, no. And like, I don't know, with my hand right away, I looked at him and he looked super nice, but I kind of wanted to say, I love you, but I'm not, you know, I'm not feeling in my safe zone right now. And I just did this very gently, no aggressivity, whatever. And we looked at each other and was like, okay, you know, I mean, whatever. And then I came home and it made me think about just this energy just in one gesture of how much, you know, it could symbolize without even talking, you know, an exchange of energy. So that was very cool. So I started these paintings like this, and a lot of rays around all the colors that can symbolize, you know, persons and all the different stories you can have with the people around you. And so so I'm gonna do a little zoom in. See this painting? So 16 rays that I painted completely randomly. I didn't decide to do 16 for any reason. I just didn't want to make any calculations, and I traced these 16 lines, and so I painted this hand and the circle around it, and for a very long time with different shades, you know, the blue is the communication and the purple is the understanding. Okay, and I didn't paint it for a very long time, for maybe 6 months it stays there, until I decided I was gonna do an actual polygon around it, very simple. And so I traced the polygon around it and made these little star connections. And with the colors, I blended, you see, so the color, oops, the color from this one and the color from this one are coming. And this one, like an alchemy. Okay, and you see the color from the yellow here and the color of the yellow here, you find them in this little triangle right here. And they're all entangled like this, connected. Okay, representing how each of us, we exchange our energies like this and we create the whole. All right, and you see how it perfectly found a spot right here with the wings. I really, really love it. So let's talk about the frame. So a big size painting like this, 24 by 30. It's really, really rare to find these frames that size. And they're very expensive also to make custom size. So what I did when I started, and then I started going to thrift stores or antiques and stuff, and whenever I find a nice frame and I get lucky, then I refurbish the frame or I repaint it. And so I found this frame, same, I'm gonna go closer in a little bit, but I bought this beautiful frame, metal frame, gold, because I wanted something super vibrant, because this is a very, very vibrant, very colorful, very energetic painting. And so you see, I wanted to put it like this. And so now I'm going to turn it around. And so I painted, you see these edges that I painted the colors. I painted the colors here of the painting. And that was so funny. And you see, I even did the dots all around it. Okay. So it's very, very interesting. I never used to work with metal. I like organic materials more. So most of my frames are made of wood, actually. And since I'm working at the gallery, it's super interesting because there were some cast iron sets over there that I've placed strategically in between some certain paintings to create this alchemy, okay? Because the iron or the metal or the bronze or gold, these metals are noble and carry a lot of energy, okay? This is what they called alchemy, and they were trying, to turn iron into gold and stuff like that. So this on the biological level. But on the energetic level, it was super interesting working with it. And then it was a really strong frame for a really strong painting. So I decided to change it, and I'm gonna put this frame with a coastal, with this. I'm gonna put this painting with this coastal frame that the sun was in initially. And it's gonna make it a lot more soothing. You see, okay. You see how it's gonna make it a lot more soothing. So this is gonna go in my son's playroom, actually. You will see pictures. And then I changed the sun into that frame. And the funny thing is that when I made the frame, I said, at least I know this frame won't go with any other painting because it's meant for that painting. And so I was like, let me try just in case to put it with the sun, because the sun and the gold, gold color frame, let's see what happens. And there, the alchemy. I'm actually super excited about this because the fire is what melts, the metal. And so just by the energy of mixing the fire with the metal and having all these colors in the middle that actually come and bring a touch of rainbow to the sun, that was just 3 colors in it. And I think that's just magic. It's just magic, and I see the element and how the frame got a lot brighter, a lot more joyful. So hopefully recoding, you see this sun has been in the coastal frame for a very long time, and bringing some colors to that sun for future is hopefully bringing more joy to it. And by putting it in this metal frame, it's kind of like casting the intention okay, of bringing joys and colors and stuff like that into the painting. So to me, this is the energy that's spreading out, and mostly, you know, coming from very small dots in the center, if you see the details, until the outer. So you see this sun. Another interesting point about numerology, this sun has 13 rays. 13, because 13 is a very powerful number, you know. The 13, the 12, okay, the 12 months of the year, but there's 13 moon, 13 or 14, I think 13. The 12 apostles, you know, plus one, Jesus, which represents the divine. So there is something, the 12 plus 1 with the 13, but 13, 1 plus 3 is also 4, and 4 is a foundation number, okay? And I had 16 rays around the frame, so I was like, 13 rays and 16 other rays, is it gonna match? And yes, and you see 16, 1 plus 6 is 7, and 7 is the number of heaven. So we have the 14, which is 4, number of foundation, expanding out to the divine with this number 16, and so that makes 7 when you add up the numbers, and number of heaven, okay? And the little dots here, how it goes through and to diffuse, you know, into the matter. So yeah, I thought that was interesting to show this a little bit. Okay, so let me know what you think about the frames. Do you prefer the frames like this and coastal like this, or putting that frame into the other? I think change is nice. Change is really nice. Okay, so you see how it's so interesting that you can play with the energy just of the colors to create an energy and master the energy of the room. So the Feng Shui does this, and nowadays, you know, interior designers, they do that a lot, some consciously, some unconsciously, but of course when you're redecorating a home, you creating gateways, you're creating portals, the energy you want to have around you. And even here on the gallery, we can see if you're placing two paintings facing each other, they're interacting. It creates this energy. Like last time, for example, we had a beautiful portrait right here, and another painting here that was very strong, very aggressive, not in a negative way, just like I was telling you, that the hand on that frame was like really strong, kind of maybe a little aggressive, and I wanted to put it in a smoother frame to calm this energy of this one, while bringing colors to this one would actually bring in more vibrance and dynamism. And so in the gallery, the same thing, having this portrait and this aggressive kind of painting in front of it was making me uncomfortable when I would pass in this area. So Kim and Ellen actually did a beautiful work. They put the portraits over there and they put some abstracts around it that makes a completely different harmony, and it's really beautiful. Or for example, this painting that I thought was a little more aggressive, I've put it in front of other paintings that are super colorful, but colorful and joyful, and so having the mix of them all together kind of blends it in and makes it not so outcast compared to this specific area. So creating energies and portals just with colors and decorations, you can do this. It's something that everyone can do, and I promise you how much power and energy you get out of this, and also calls upon new spirits or energies, you know, because the mood you're in attracts. You broadcast and you attract as well. So the external, of course, everything is internal, and as we were saying, there is so much explanation for one symbol because it depends on your experience and your memories. Someone can have the same interpretation, something totally as valid, but in their own way, in their own specialty. The inner peace is important, but your external as well. This is what you see every day. If you're in a place every day looking at a blank wall that makes you depressed, of course it's gonna have an influence in your mood. Like when I'm in my house, sometimes I can't even control my emotions, why I'm feeling uncomfortable or aggressive, and I just realized it's because I need to vacuum the house. I need to clean the house, or I need to clean my office. If I start piling up, papers here or papers that, it creates this disorder all around in the field, and that gets to me. So making, as within, so without. So this is the interesting thing about working here at the gallery, or redecorating the house, or studying the art, because you can connect all these concepts together. And through images, I hear scientists, talking about this concept that I can translate exactly word for word into image, and that someone else can translate word for word into food, into fashion, into the nature, the environment, so into music. It's in everything. It's just translation of the concept. For example, the equation, I was asking a question earlier about the equation. So see, when I see this painting, for example, I have the 13, so the 4 plus 7, and 4 plus 7, 11. Look at that. And so see, I see the colors, but in equations as well. It's like equations of shapes and colors. So it's pretty funny to look at it this way. And sometimes when you look outside and you look in the sun, in the rays, everybody can see, I think, something different. I can see numbers and shapes, sometimes a very macro lines of numbers and shapes coming out of the rays, or sometimes people can see orbs. When you have your phone like this and you see orbs, like with the reflection of the light, because, well, sometimes it's literally a physical reflection, but also they appear to you because you're in this angle and made more visible through the light. Okay, and another special that I want to end with, that's at the gallery as well. So we have this beautiful Amazon here behind us, and right next to it I put my painting exploration, that I can give you just a few words about it, because really thanks to internet and doing this video, we have this ability to connect with everybody around the world and share this concept, and make them so much faster to diffuse as well. And this Amazon as well is very beautiful. Look at her, like she's burning sage, and right next to the world, how I was talking about alchemy, how you placing things next to each other starts making sense. You see, for me, this is like a spell, a very beautiful, gentle spell, but you see she has this strong energy. She's burning sage, so it's symbolizing the purification. Okay, the purification in nature. She has the energy of the moon behind her, so it's the moon with the gold, once again, this gold energy, the noble materials, the noble colors. But also, in religions, when characters have an aureole, aura around them, it symbolizes also the divinity, the connection to the divine. And so that's why I put my painting about the world right next to her, with the fire letter. See, she's playing with fire as well, and the fire letter, which is a letter of a collective letter for healing, for the collective. And for the healing, first you need to clear all the luggage, because this world is carrying a lot of luggage. In nature, this is the simplicity that she has from nature, the bare minimum, the connection with nature. And there is so much more than to that, to the world. We have a lot of metal, we have lots of of wars memories and history in the collective, lots of drama, family drama, traumas, everything on the personal level, on the collective level. So by cleansing these energies, you see, taking a step really close, it's like the zoom out and the zoom in, you see, really close with her, and then zooming out, looking at the world. She's clearing this aura of the earth, and the fire letter here is helping for the healing. Okay, and the background, the tapestry, how we want to repaint our world with colors and maybe more connection with nature. Okay, so why did I call this painting Shapeshifters? So it's a pretty easy image to see all the colors that can represent, people. And when I was talking about how there is this alchemy in between the two colors that join each other and this entanglement. So I don't know if you've seen this show called Sense8, when one person on the one side of the world, starts a bus driver in Africa is having problem in the village, and he starts fighting with some guys, and he's doing martial arts, and everybody looks at him like, whoa, they call him Van Damme, because how did you do that? And he's connected to this lady in Asia that is an expert in martial arts, and they start developing this connection like this, and being able to remote view what's happening in the other person reality. And so this happens a lot. Like, have you ever experienced sometimes doing or saying something and you say, oh, this sounds like me? So it can be energies that you pick up on, of course, that are around you. But there is also sometimes happen to me that during a moment, or I'm recording something, and then when I rewatch the video, I see someone else, and I'm like, oh, she said that, like she was talking through me. Someone has a message, to come through me, or someone who is doing a conference at the same time, and I'm talking, and most of the times right after I'm done recording something or posting something, it unlocks the access. I watched the conference, and it's the exact same topic, exact same vocabulary that is used. So it's kind of like your remote viewing. Your consciousness is linked to the universe, and the universe knows everything. So inside your consciousness, you have this link to everything. And if you take the step of trying to understand or studying something, you unlock something. And the more you go, and the more you unlock something else. And I've noticed most of the time, and this information wants to come out. Also, this is the important thing. The information wants to come out. I have thousands of things written on my computer, on my phones, and stuff like that, when it's going to be the right time to put that up, and nothing happens, and I pick something from the energy of the moment, and I post it through my newsletter, or through my Instagram, or just talking to one specific person that had to have the information, and it unlocks something, and I have access to more of the information. So this is how it kind of shows me that when I'm the confirmation, I'm on the right path. That was good to do that, even maybe that was not perfect, and most of the time I do something and I go back to it after to correct it or make it better, like writing an article. I can take 10 times to write an article. But I wouldn't have been able, if I didn't post it this first place, even with the mistakes, to have access to more, be able to verify, and then make it better, going further. So step by step. If I would wait until everything is perfect, I don't think perfect exists, but it can always be. There's always more, better. But yeah, it's part of this process to unlocking and going to the next level. Alright everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you visit us at the gallery and to see you very soon. Bye!